Hello ladies and gentlemen, we are heading into the series between DRX and Damwon, game number 2. We looked at the first one. Let's talk about the draft. This time around, Damwon are the ones with the Renekton, and they pick up the Nidalee. Why not? You know, why not? This is something that I like to see. Everyone asks the questions always, why Renekton? Well, Renekton is something that provides you a lot of space for your jungler. There are counters to Renekton, like you can pick Ornn. You can go for a Jayce, you can go for a Quinn, like you can pick champions into it and figure it out, right? Thank you very much, Fashizzle. Thank you very much, make some motherfucking noise. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have Nuguri and Nidalee, they're just straight up locking it in. Was this the order? I feel like... Wait. Is this the right order of draft? Yeah, it is. That's kind of convenient. That's pretty convenient. Okay. So we have Renekton Nidalee as an answer to Set. Because if you give up Renekton Nidalee here, your top side will be in trouble. It's going to be a tough game. This time around, we look at the AD carry bans. Ashe is out, Caitlyn is out, Lucian is out. This seems like a very natural progression. You know, this makes sense with what Damwon showed in the first game. Either you trade Ashe for Kate or you ban both. There's no way in hell you want to pick anything else against it. And the progression after that in terms of priority for AD carry should be Senna, Kalista. But the key differential here is that Deft's Ezreal is God tier. God tier. Alright, Deft Ezreal is God tier. So with this being said, we have a top side locked in as well. Set is something that sometimes shows up in mid lane. And that's cool. Volibear is picked into this champ. Nevertheless, we move on. We have top 2v2 top side, and then Showmaker just goes for the best possible blind into Jayce, because you know Jayce has high chance of going mid. Set can also go mid. I think Set probably is better than Jayce into Syndra, but all in all, like, we don't mind this. This matchup is skill matchup. Lilia gets locked in. Pyosik had a fine performance first game. Like, this 2v2 is a bit worse. Like, this is not the greatest 2v2 mid. Like, this is a game where you have to play heavily through top into mid. There's no reason to ever play 2v2 mid here in this game with Cannon Showmaker, because like, it's just a Hex Drinker buy or a Mercury buy for Jayce, and it's just out. You know, it's just out. Like, the synergy between these two champions is very minimal because they just get countered by magic resistance. Right? That's why it's so important to have damage mixes for the things that you want to play. For example, Renekton Nidalee, it's very hard as a top laner to itemize into Renekton Nidalee, because you want Ninja Tabi, you want Mercury, you want MR, and everything is kind of, you know, rough. Everything's kind of rough. How well does Lilia do into Nidalee? I think as an interaction, they don't really interact that much with each other. You know, it's hard to land spears, it's hard to catch up to each other. They're both very mobile, and the interaction between them is very, very non-existent. The key thing, though, is Lilia is very strong in level 1s, and the thing is, Lilia, when she has stacks, she's strong. When she doesn't have stacks, she's weakness. So it always depends on the situation. Very, always depends on the situation. So Set, of course, can go support. In this case, it doesn't want to go top lane. There's still an option for it to go mid. This could be the complete top side already, right? This could be the complete top side, and they could pick a support here that is different. They picked Syndra because it's fine blind into Jayce. That's the whole thought process. And then they continue with a fourth pick, Kalista. They continue with the same bans, Relay Echo, very similar to the last game. I didn't really understand the Ezreal pick, because Kalista is good into Ezreal. I do understand it because it's deft, like it's deft Ezreal, so it's a bit different. They're going for the Ezreal set wall lane, which is okay, but I think this bottom duo will always be favored. So it's very crazy when I was watching this. I was trying to piece it together as to why they picked Alistar. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense to pick Alistar into Ezreal, because Ezreal naturally counters Alistar, right? You can deny his whole combo with the help of, your shit, right? But they'll pick it because Alistar is fucking good into Lilia. It's a really good into Lilia, actually. This champion has to stay in close quarters and rely completely on move speed. How do you shut that down completely? You fucking knock her in the brain with your WQ. And that's the thought process. It's also that Alistar is quite fine into set, you can knock him away, and it's also fine into Jayce. And on top of that, it is the hard CC for the Nidalee. So if you look at what they drafted together with Nidalee, it's hard CC with Ali, it's hard CC with Kalista, of course, it's 6, Syndra, E, and Renekton. These synergies are very important for Nidalee because when you draft a champion like Nidalee or a Graves, it's important that every lane is just an opportunity. It's just an opportunity. So this Alistar is a pick that is just there to make the comp better and to make Nidalee better. But this game has some opportunity. I don't think it's that big of a disaster. It's not that big of a disaster as the previous game. This is a set Ezreal bot lane. They have some chances. Volibear top into top side. I do believe that Renekton Nidalee is the stronger 2v2 though. This is a 2v2 that is going to be contesting the one on top side. And then the benefit that they have is the fact that Lilia and Jayce is better than Syndra and Nidalee together. So you have a top side with a jungle AP and then 2 AD laners. And that's it, So all in all, like you play 2v2 mid, you pressure into top side. Winnable game. I don't think it's 35-65. I think that's way too extreme. Way too extreme. If we think in terms of scaling for the game, like I have an issue with set support. That's the issue I have. I have an issue with set support. They are picking Jayce, so they're blind picking Syndra to make sure that they have an option into the Jayce. They ban 2 and he's happy to blind pick Syndra if the enemy goes Jayce mid. I feel like DRX comp doesn't have a defined objective. Their objective is 2v2 mid, and then later on they just want to play a poking game with Lilia, Jayce, and Ezreal. But depending on Nidalee's strength, the healing is going to be very, very good. Only AP is on Lilia, well Ezreal does some magic damage too. The scary part about this is just I just think Kalista and Alistar scale into this game very, very heavily. Like Kalista, Alistar are champions that can 1v9 against the champions that we see on blue side. Like Kalista, Alistar just counter the champions on blue side in team fights later. So that's the danger. In terms of 5v5 fighting, it's way easier to execute down one's composition. So that's the danger, right? That's the danger. But in terms of early, I think there is some punching power here for DRX, and if they can snowball the game, then yeah, there are some options. And snowballing is really an important topic in this game. It's a very important topic in this game. Shouldn't Syndra and Italy be stronger 2v2? What can Lilia do before 6? And at 6, Syndra should be stronger than Jayce, I think. It really depends, because Jayce can itemize very freely here. He can itemize into Hex Drinker, into Mercury, and he will have a good time in this 2v2. Very good time. So the topic of early snowball is important. It's very important here. Yeah, Kalista ban makes sense. Kalista ban makes sense, but if they ban Kalista, maybe the enemy picks Ezreal on 4. And maybe Def doesn't want to play Senna. Can Rakan function the same way as Alistar? Sure. Sure. Like it's a bit wild that they pick Alistar into Ezreal, I'm not gonna lie. Is Pantheon worth taking away from Barrow? Yeah, I would say so. Like, sure, Syndra and Italy can win 2v2s, right? It's not like it's complete garbage. Like, if you land your spells, if you stun into Q and Italy, you can find ways. But if you're talking about on paper, it becomes a lot easier. Like, small details like Jayce going magic resistance rune can be very good. That can be very good, right? But nevertheless, I would say ease of execution is in Damon's hands. Just because of the strength of Kalista and Alistar once again. Thoughts on the volley pick? I didn't get it. I get it in the sense that you want to pick it into Renekton, which is alright. But on DRX, like, why are they so insistent on the idea of playing a very topside centric game? They could have also just locked in Kalista here, right? They could have also locked in Kalista here. And then all of a sudden, you know, it's a very different game. But they just kind of refuse. They're making a topside centric game. From DRX's side, I wouldn't want you to do that. I would just put your boy on Ornn duty. The Echo ban good, what is its purpose? It's for the blind pick of Syndra. They are afraid of Chovy Echo counter. Sorry off context. Well, are you really sorry if you ask the question anyway? Like, who are you kidding? He can cheat it to no magic mantle, yeah. If he gets a no magic mantle, it's very free. Hey, dental gains. Double correcting potion mid. Chovy went for heal. I think maybe a bit of an overkill. But heal makes your 2v2 mid much, much stronger. It's funny that, you know, Damwon have so good champions into phase rush. Because their champions really don't care about phase rush. And DRX are running a lot of phase rushes. So I thought that's pretty funny. Because they have no slows on their team. Except, of course, Kalista E. How does Echo counter Syndra? Well, he has 2 dashes. And he can be very durable. And he can ult the ult of Syndra. And now with a lot of the Syndra nerfs, that matchup has become easier and easier for Echo with time. I've even seen games where Echo players go as far as running Fleet Footwork, and then the matchup is practically impossible for Syndra to win. But maybe Fleet Footwork is a bit of an overkill. I think you can get away with not Is Syndra still viable bot lane after Q nerfs? It's viable, but it's not as good as before. Like, it hurts your bot lane the most. Like the E cooldown, like this, there's been like 3 patches with pretty significant Syndra nerfs. Why does Alistar have Phase Rush and not Aftershock on nerfed Guardian? It's just the adaptation. It's like Phase Rush is a very, very good keystone right now. This is a very interesting gank. This is super impactful already. Finding the level 2 gank. Like, Pyosik has been very creative with his Lilia. I like what I'm seeing. I really, really like what I'm seeing. Pyosik has been doing good. Deft had a rough off series. Well, also draft kind of doomed him. Definitely doomed him. This flash onto mid is huge, and the split map is also huge. We just have to see if Pyosik actually manages to defend his side of the map. Nuguri also isolated. It's kind of awkward because he wants to contest this, but honestly, Volibear should win prior early on, so Nuguri doesn't want to contest it too heavily. Ezreal Set is also pushing bottom, so this is a strong position for DRX. Pyosik is going for red buff though, Cannon wasting a lot of time waiting for Set to show up. Kalista, they are not contesting too hard, good ward. Pyosik is still on top side, going into top side, looking for top side dive, but once again this is a waste of time, you can't really dive. Renekton is popping the potion, there's nothing. Oh, can you dive? I don't think you can dive. This is just a disaster, no? This is a disaster, I don't think you can fucking dive. And then Damon invade, and yeah, in a world where they succeed to dive top, this is completely game over. But this was a very nice early game plan from DRX. Like, DRX early games have not been bad in this entire series. I think, you know, if Pyosik just skipped the red and went into his bot side jungle, maybe it would be the more accurate play. But diving top side was very, very cocktail. Like, Pyosik didn't burn flash, Doran burned flash, and Nuguri still holds his. Doran TP'd back. Better base for Doran than Nuguri. He only has the longsword. Volibear bought another potion. Wasn't that an in moment there from Damon? Yeah, they just tried to force an invade that just doesn't work. Because a lot of key pieces there. A lot of key pieces. The key piece first is the level 1 to 2 gank onto mid, which gives Jayce complete control of the lane. And Ezreal and Set somehow, well, not somehow, but they get prior level 1 against Alistar. So they have full control of the map. Lily can't invade onto the red, and she's just suffocated out. So this was a very neat level plan, honestly. A very, very neat plan. Lilia is very strong level 2. Nidalee has to land the spear, and Pyosik is very happy to fight inside of jungle camps because he gets all those stacks. Now Nuguri is doing some good trading. Health levels are looking good. The E was misplaced because the E didn't hit Nuguri, but it wouldn't matter, he's not low enough. And then here Canyon just being super greedy because Korea was not showing on both sides and was bouncing back, and I think you just give up the red and just do crab here and you just take it for what it is. No, this is something that you make as a game plan as a coach, at least I do. Like, I will put a lot of conversation into level 1s, and you can predict the first 5 minutes of the game pretty accurately most of the time through knowledge of lane phase. And then Doran burns his flash early, and then all of a sudden this puts Nidalee back in the driving seat. Just the fact that Nuguri, keep in mind, this was significant top gap. Nuguri was pressured in a way where the map was divided. Nidalee went into bottom side and died. Nidalee went into bottom side and died. That's like the worst case scenario for a top laner. But he managed to survive the dive. He managed to get Volibear's flash. And after that, managed to control the lane in a way where Nidalee's timing was precisely through her jungle clear into top side and then gank top. She just came through lane, and then the wave was in perfect position already. This is big top gap. Big top gap. Many small nuances that make it very big top gap. What do you think is best itemization Volley can go this game? I would say like, Bramble Vest into Trinity Force, Mercury, something like that. Volibear itemization is pretty fucking awkward, I'm not gonna lie. Why Jayce? Jayce, they just want to. They just wanted to pick an AD champ together with Lilia. They just wanted to pick an AD champion into Lilia. This is a moment where it's completely acceptable to buy a Blade, because Blade is later. So this is, look at Jayce items. Jayce items makes you, 2v2 mid is unwinnable. Now Lilia just needs to play through mid and invade together with Jayce. Blade is completely acceptable here because Blade is good against Jayce in the 1v1 on split, and it's also good into Volibear, and also at the same time, I don't know why Nuguri flash. Like, you can just fucking walk up. Like, there's no need to make you know, make a scene here, Nuguri. You just fucking keep your flash, bro. I don't fucking like Volibear top at all. Like, if you pick it, I think it should be jungle. Well, it's not completely outside the realm of possibility that DRX win worlds. They have Chovy. They have Chovy. They have Chovy, Deft, and Korea. It's not completely outside of the realm of possibility, but it's going to be super hard. Very, very hard. It's a lot of things that they need to fix. I usually, coming into the World Championship with things that you need to fix is a bad sign. Especially this year's Worlds. Like, this year's Worlds is something else. Coming into Worlds with things to fix, man, you need to fucking work hard. You need to work hard to make sure that you don't lose all of the things that you have in the first place. Now Cutlass, maybe Cutlass, like Cutlass bottom makes it a big gap. Yeah, Chovy stops in quarters again. Yeah, if they put Chovy on fucking Sion and in the middle of the game. To be fair, Damwon are undefeated on a lot of fucking shit, man. They lost 5 games in the span of a whole season in a season that consists of best of 3s. This really sounds like Budget Hans Zimmer. Doran getting destructified. Look at the key difference between, you know, Damwon playing a topside game and the other team playing a topside game. Like, if this happened in the previous game, we might have had, you know, a game that was interesting, but we didn't. Destructified. Sure, they get the mountain, but this is a price that you're willing to pay when you pick Renekton and Lily. Do you think Volley can ever be flex to support? Well, who's fucking stopping you, right? Can is a very specific word. Can is a very, very specific word. And that's the blade. That's the blade of the Ruined Dingus. Look at that gold gap in top. That's 1.4k. I wanted to say 1.4k, but it came out as 4k. Just gonna drink some more of my delicious beverage. So on the topic of freezing, I always get asked, is freezing good? Is freezing good? This could be a good situation where Renekton could freeze, but he's doing golems. Because freezing against Volibear is completely viable in this case because Volibear is not so useful. I look at Volibear's items, right? He's a little cuddly little bear. He's so cute, yo. So now freezing is cool. Now freezing is cool because he's not gonna find that much impact on the map, and Renekton has TP. So this is definitely a way to put Volibear completely in the grave. Because at the same time, you know, most of the time, the way you look to snowball top is you break the tower, and just because you break the tower, you pushing all the way into the enemy turret is going to allow you to pressure into mid. But Renekton pressuring into mid is not that exciting. Well, it's not so exciting. Not so exciting. Sure, you can maybe dive Jayce. You can maybe dive Jayce, but you can also look to freeze here because the impact of Volibear is not going to be that crazy. But then the question is, it's viable to push all the way if Renekton can effectively dive mid, right? So that's always the question you need to ask yourself. You know, freezing is not as simple as just freezing. Your team needs to be in sync with this decision. So you could freeze here. Let's say he didn't do golems, he was freezing. Volibear would be like, fuck, I need to do something. I'm gonna go into mid. Showmaker doesn't have a base yet, so that could be dangerous, but he has TP. Nidalee, Kalista, Arasa will have prior through bottom side. And then you just need to make sure that you have a setup for good Renekton TPs if the enemy forces, and then you can enjoy your Blade of Ruin King Renekton in a very, very big explosive fight. Lethal Tempo versus Halo Blade Kalista, which for solo queue, probably Halo Blades. But I think it's a preference thing. It's always a preference thing. So now Renekton is pushing all the way. They can play on the fact that Renekton has TP situations here. He can move into river, as you see. He's already moving into here to cause pressure onto the Jayce. Showmaker, like Chovy, is trying to find a win of all in, but this is dangerous. The magic resistance is doing a lot of work, but here comes Nuguri the Crocodingus. Here is the Crocodingus. Nuguri had flash on, but didn't go for it. The TP of Volibear already happened. He's going back into top side. So this wave right here, if it's a cannon, you don't want to touch it. Because if you push this one, if it's a cannon, the one I marked on the map, if you push the cannon, your next wave is a cannon, and then it's gonna freeze for the Volibear. So that's something you just a small little thing, guys. Do you think as a coach you should sometimes force some drafts to the players? Because CVMAX seems to give a lot of freedom to the players. I think there's a balance. Like, there's some players I trust to pick the right champion, there's some players I don't trust at all. And it completely differs from players to players. There are some players that can follow the line of my thought process and work with me, and there are some players that work against me, not intentionally, but like there are some players that, for example, oh, I feel like playing fucking Akali this game. And I'm like, why? I just have a stomach feeling. I'm like, what? The stomach feeling? Fuck you, you play Ornn mid. You know, things like this, you know, it's just, yeah, you get me. And there he is. Chovy manages to survive. Mercury, OP. Yeah, this was a moment. This was a moment in time. This was definitely a moment in time. Oh, what the fuck? Whoa. This was a moment in time. Pyosik playing out of his mind again. Yeah, legit out of his mind. He entered Nidalee's mind. Yeah. Let's just take a step back. What happened to Ezreal and Sett? Like, why did they die? This lane is just so fucking hard, man. It's so hard. Well, Ezreal doesn't have E? Boom. Where's Ezreal E? He doesn't have E. He just doesn't have E. Wow, he just doesn't have E and is walking forward like this. Mental. That is mental. No E. No E Renekton. Pepega. He had to flash. But then if he flash... And then what happened to Sett? Like, how did Sett die? He just died. He was basing. Stoifel. Thank you very much for your subscription. I appreciate it. A lot of love. A lot of love. Yeah, this was weird. I don't need to comment on that. That was just weird. As you can see, Renekton is spreading his pressure onto mid, but Jayce is holding strong. Volibear is trying to match the best way he can, because he wants Chovy to carry him. Understandable. Okay, let's run it back. Let's run it back. Did Ghost fuck up here? Because he didn't dash on his Q. Hey, he didn't dash. He fucked up. Boom. Oink. Blows. That blows. That really blows. Syndra's range is absurd, and her E is still an incredible ability that controls a lot of space. That's why Syndra is still strong. Her all-in numbers remain very similar, and just a strong champion. Also, like, some of the Syndra players that we have are so goddamn good. Really. The fact that Chovy manages to hold the game in such a position and not lose a single plating after Renekton is sniffing his asshole the whole game is truly, truly impressive. What do you think about Lucian first pick? It's good considering there's a lot of good AP junglers in the game right now. I'm curious what kind of damage they would have done to... Like here, Nuguri shouldn't push. Nuguri shouldn't push. Like his movement should always be in line with everything that's going on in the map. There's no reason to push here. His team is doing Drake and it's also a cannon. You shouldn't do this. Do you think Doran and Pyosik have improved since Spring Split? I'm not sure. He could have just... Renekton didn't accomplish much at all with his roams into mid. Like, he could have froze forever. And now our bot lane matchup is completely broken. Huni played good on AG. Like, in the best of 5 that they lost, like Huni was the only player playing. I suggest you guys looking back at that. Like, he was trying to win the game really hard. I think Jizuki and Huni would fucking do super well together. I think Huni is a very smart player. This music gives me some serious Harry Potter vibes. Jizuki and Huni on one team will always be either Turbo Win or Turbo Int. Well, at least, well, that's better than always Turbo Int. I don't understand what that means, going sophomore Zinks. We can't hear your music? You can't? Pretty sure you can, no? Yeah, this song was pretty loud. Down break mid turret. Yeah, super strong condition to win. Chovy no mana. Holy, Def got clapped, man. Wait, what's DRX doing? It's pretty clutch here that they get cancelled on the base and bottom. And he also burns flash. It's a big deal. It's a very big deal. Then also like Iceborne Gauntlet is not super good this game. It's like it's okay, but I think Korea played decent in summer. I think most of the time you just go for Iceborne Gauntlet, honestly. It's just so much cheaper. It's just so much cheaper and the item is not terrible, like the differences are not that large. Like 384s I think it's a very luxury item. If you're super far ahead you can go Trinity, but it's very rare you're not gonna get value out of the armor. Oh, see what I meant? Chovy is popping off, but Jayce falls off and can 1v9. Well, the thing is, you're not gonna be able to, like, if he had a different champion in this game, his conditions would be like way worse. Like the champion to achieve this state of the game matters. Like you can't just say, oh, he's 3-0 now. Imagine he was 3-0 Aussie right now. How sick would that be? No, you can't really view it like that. Doesn't make sense. Do you think SN or LGD can beat Damwon G2? I think Suning has some high variance in their gameplay that can change it up. I think LGD probably not. LGD is really just a two-man show, I think. While Suning have some potential across the board. I'm a big fan of Sword Art. Huan Feng also had some great moments. SoFM is... I feel like SoFM is really good against junglers. Really good against junglers that are worse than him. But not that great against junglers that are better than him. If that makes sense. So we have the flash again. I rewind way too much. I think there's a good chance that Damwon goes to finals. T1 fans want you to come and join. Yeah, Joe Marsh. What's my phone call? I'm kidding. I have a lot of respect for T1. Depends on the players, would you BG? Set is not really scaling bot lane. It's the wrong way to view it. Do you have a player in LCK that you want to coach? The value play that you want to make bloom? Not sure. It's a hard question. Oh wow, barely missed. This is very troll. It's very troll from that one. There's no reason to do this. No one was in position. Nuguri is so fucking fat. Oof. Oof. So strong, so strong. I better mess his ult. I'm looking at it from AD carry perspective. Ezreal outscaled Kalista pretty hard. It really depends on the game. How is he down one full item? Well, this Renekton Trinity Force is more expensive first, and he also has Tabi finished and 2 Doran's items. That matters. And also Renekton has 5 platings on first tower. Doran has none of that. Do you think Senna will be heavily contested worlds? Considering what the patch notes say about Senna, I doubt it. I think Volibear is a strong jungler. I think it's a good jungler. People are a bit too off the Volibear jungle train, but I don't like Volibear top so much. It seems to me that Lilia and Hecarim serve similar roles as champions, aside from AP/AD. Is this true? No, the only similarities is that they have 4 legs. They function very differently as champions. Lilia needs to snowball and needs to find invades and needs to clear jungle camps. Hecarim in teamfights functions very different. He is a very, very bursty champion. Lilia needs to have a lot of rotations of spells and suffers against hard CC, while Hecarim can break a lot of those spells with the help of his ult. Hecarim's a very bursty champion, while Lilia needs to rotate a lot of spells and survive, and is countered by hard CC. So that one, even if they started such a poor fight, Nuguri is so strong, it just doesn't matter. Nash is on and game should be finished. It all came down to, Damwon just simply snowballing, Jayce not getting out of hand, Showmaker holding strong, and then Damwon keeping calm, waiting for Nidalee's pressure moments. Nidalee got super fed off with the Herald of Top, and Pyosik, even though he got that clean invade off and Nidalee, lost composure, the fact that Volibear gave that Volibear gave that kill to Nidalee just brought her back into the game, so that was a big mistake. Very big mistake. And now the next issue is that the armor is starting to land on Damwon, and even though Lilia has, Leandri and she's decently strong, it's not, armor is getting so much value here. So much value. Set doesn't scale well at all as a support. This dive was a bit unnecessary. They could just play time. Who can I play in my own games to jungle with to counter all these pesky Nidleys? Just play Kha'Zix or Nocturne. Nidalee. How much gold diff is just the towers? Thank you. Thank you for blessing me, guys. Gold difference towers. What is it? 3,000? More? I don't know, man. I don't want to do the math now. Like every turret is worth different. It's a headache. We've never seen Caps perform internationally. I think that's a bit unfair, considering at MSI last year he was crazy good, and also at Worlds last year he was really good too. When to choose GLP over Ludens for Syndra? Depends on your base timers. Sometimes you have to buy a couple of fucking amplifying tomes because you can't get a blasting wand, and that's alright. Okay, that was a sarcastic statement. Okay. Damon's preparation for dragons is absolutely beautiful. They cover all flanks, they always are at the right time. Very clean. Very clean. Look at the smack there. Master Drake. Pyosik stopwatches. Korea's just dead. Just GG. Ah, fucking Kalista Alistar gets so much value, man. Kalista Alistar scales so fucking good in this game. As Kalista Alistar's interaction against all of these champions is massive. Absolutely massive. The reason I'm not saying much is just I don't know how DRX is supposed to win this. I don't know how they're supposed to win this. Just Damon are playing with good amount of precision. Like they had some fights that were poor, but they were always in timings where it's not gonna matter too much. There's no Nash or there's no objective on the map. So they trade 1 for 1, it doesn't matter. Alistar is a very hard early game. So level 1 is bad. Can you stop stealing paychecks, pathetic hustler? It's a good meme, it's a good meme. Good itemization. Zonya gives so much value here in this game. Kalista is unkillable with the BT and the Ninja Tabi. I like that a lot of the old ADs have stirred away from Death Stance, so I think this item is not so good anymore. Whoa. Pyosik value this fight. Pyosik did so much fucking damage this fight, actually. I think here, I don't like that Battle is hitting Nash, like what on earth is Battle doing here? This is a bit silly. Showmaker should be here, Ghost should be here, then it's hard to enter. If Battle is here, let's say Battle is here, it's fucking hard. This is fucking Hex flashing. Body blocking the backside, what does that mean? Body blocking the backside. He's just hitting Nash, like he's hitting auto. He's autoing for 26 on the Nash. Look at him go, man. KoJJ is still one of the best 3 supports in the world, so no. Yeah, he's giving Baron a back massage, that's exactly what he's doing. And this fight could have been way better. Good execution, they force at the right time. Like it's a good timing to. It's a good time to do Nash. This should be, could be more clean, but it's very little to complain about. It's just so evident in everything that Damwon do that everyone's on the same page, and that's incredibly hard to achieve. People really underestimate how hard that is to achieve. Having 5 players that are on the same page, because even G2 in their prime. They're doing a lot of fucked up shit, man. There's fucking dying on side and 2 people dying on side while 3 people on base and shit like this. Like they did some wild stuff, you know. FPX had that, yeah. FPX had that. Oh, sorry for punching the microphone. That was not my intention. Okay, it's Pyosik. Showmaker taking a power nap. C9 had that. Yeah, whoever wins early is going to win a game like this. And then even then, like the Damwon just have way more tools to even come back later, because Kalista, Alistar is just too much value against Jayce and Volibear and all of these champions that they have. I think just Damwon better draft and then better execution. I think like 60-40 maybe. 35-65 that someone said is a bit too much. Too much. Because DRX have a strong 2v2 mid. Fnatic is the complete opposite of Damwon. Bro, like Fnatic not on the same page, but like it doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it. They are not reading the same book. They are not in the same class. They went to different libraries. Except for Nemesis and Selfmade. Nemesis plays alone. Selfmade plays alone. They have no synergy. Nice Canyon. So cute, Canyon. So cute. Yeah, just came down to the wire of the things that we mentioned at the beginning of the game. Honestly. Just the Renekton snowball. We pointed out some of the key mistakes. Yeah, that one has a way easier time to do shit, for sure. I'm not going to Shanghai, no. Just Kalista Kalista. I think Kalista Kalista just gives you too many opportunities. Like topside wise, it's contestable, but this is just gap. This is just gap. Are you guys excited? You're gonna see your boy LS cast the World Championship. Isn't that fucking cool? Your boy. I think due to everything being remote, you're going to see like the traditional casting pairs that you see all over the world. For example, Atlas and LS, you'll see Azil and Freak, and you'll see Quickshot and Ender, or things like this, you know? I don't think you're going to have mixes and matches because everything's going to be remote. Why not? Because this is a broadcast that is going to be shown to millions of people, and to do that over Zoom is terrible. You know? Anyhow, that's it for game number 2. I'm pretty sure I didn't leak it. I think Freak has already said it publicly. Like even then, like what are people's guesses? Like there are no casters in Shanghai now. It doesn't take a genius to realize that it's not gonna happen, right? So forgive me if I leaked it. Like if no casters are in Shanghai right now, then like what are your expectations, right? I don't think it's a leak. Like I'm just guessing anyway. I'm guessing. I am just the head coach of an LCK team that didn't go to Worlds. What do I know? What do I know, guys? What do I know? What do I know?